Neo and Jiho Part 11. Remember to subscribe and tap the notification bell not to miss any part. Thank you. It was meant to be a night of joy. The nursing school's final exam results had just been posted that morning, and Tumi was glowing with pride. Top scores. Final year cleared. After all the late nights, long shifts, and skipped meals, it was finally over. Her classmates threw her a small celebration party in one of the hostels just outside Gaborone. Laughter filled the room. Music played softly from someone's speaker. There were snacks, some sodas, and a few cans of cheap cider passed around. Tumi wasn't a drinker, not usually, but tonight she had allowed herself to sip half a cider, smiling, letting go for once. She deserved this. What she didn't notice at first was the pair of eyes watching her from across the room. Quesa. Quesa was in her class. Pretty, sharp, jealous. Always had something to say in that soft, venomous way. And for weeks she'd been secretly obsessed with Neo. Or rather, the idea of Neo, the girl whose sister had left for Korea and landed herself a rich man. The girl who walked like she didn't need anyone's approval. It had started with a whisper. A conversation Quesa overheard Tumi having with her friend about how Neo had gone for a picnic that day with Jiho, a gentle, wealthy Korean businessman. Tumi had been smiling proudly, not bragging, just happy. She had even shared a blurry photo Neo had sent her earlier of the park in a picnic basket. Quesa's smile had tightened, her fingers clenched around her phone. Minutes later, Tumi had stepped into the hallway to take a short call. When she came back into the room, her phone was no longer on the couch where she had left it charging. Her friend Seti looked confused. "I thought you took it with you." "I didn't," Tumi said, scanning the table. "Where is it?" She turned sharply just in time to see Quesa quickly drop something into her handbag. "Quesa," Tumi said, voice low, stepping forward. "Give me my phone." Quesa's lip curled. "Why? Afraid I'll find more photos of your precious sister and her rich boyfriend?" People around them paused. The music still played, but the room's energy shifted. Tumi's chest tightened. "Give it now!" Quesa didn't. Instead, she stepped back and smirked. "Do you think just because your sister sleeps in a mansion with some Korean man, you'll get lucky too? You two walk like you're better than everyone." Tumi's vision blurred red. "You want to be next? Maybe they'll ship you off to some prince? Or maybe you're just hoping he has a rich friend." The words cut deep. Not because of the insult, but because it dragged her sister's dignity into the mud. In a flash, Tumi lunged. She was not a woman of many warnings. She tackled Quesa to the ground. The music stopped. Girls screamed. Fists flew. Nails scratched. Chairs toppled. Seti and another girl tried to pull Tumi off, but she was furious. Quesa had crossed a sacred line, and when Quesa screamed that final sentence, "Your sister probably sells herself to that man!" Something inside Tumi snapped. She beat her until her own knuckles bled. By the time the others pulled her back, Quesa was unconscious. Her nose was bloodied, her lips split, and her head had hit the leg of the coffee table. Someone called an ambulance. 15 minutes later, the police arrived. Tumi didn't run. She didn't explain. She just stood there breathing hard, staring at the floor. Hands were cuffed behind her back as she was led to the car. Tumi was taken to a local police holding cell. When she asked to make a call, the officer just said, "We'll deal with that after your statement." But she was in no state to speak. That night, she sat on a metal bench in a cell shared with 4 other women. Her elbow throbbed, her leg was bruised, but her heart, it pounded not with guilt, but fear. Neo would worry. She always checked in by night, and tonight there would be silence. Her bag, phone, and everything she carried had been logged into evidence by the officers. They told her nothing could be accessed until the investigation was complete. She sat on the cold bench in the holding cell, hugging her knees. But Tumi wasn't the type to stay quiet. Late that night, when one of the younger policemen came by to do rounds, she called him softly. She asked for a favor. "If I give you something when I'm out," she said, "will you just let me text someone? Just one message, please?" The man hesitated. He looked around, then handed her an old phone with cracked glass. She typed quickly, heart pounding. "Neo, I'm okay. I'm at the police station. Don't worry about me. I'll explain everything later." She hit send. "Please delete it after," she whispered, handing the phone back. The officer nodded. Tumi exhaled, exhausted. Her bruised elbow ached as she leaned back against the concrete wall, but she finally closed her eyes, knowing that at least Neo would wake up to something. The next morning, as the soft light of dawn slipped into Jiho's mansion, Neo stirred beneath her blanket. Her phone buzzed quietly on the bedside table. She reached for it, still half asleep, and blinked. One message, unknown number. Her eyes widened as she read it. "Neo, I'm okay. I'm at the police station. Don't worry about me. I'll explain everything later." Neo sat upright, her heart twisted in her chest. "Tumi!" A soft knock came at her door. "Neo?" Jiho's voice was low and gentle. She didn't respond immediately. Jiho slowly stepped inside, his hair still damp from a morning shower. His eyes landed on her face and softened. "You've been crying." Neo looked away, embarrassed. "I'm sorry, I just—" He walked closer and knelt beside the bed, his tone growing concerned. "Is it Tumi?" She nodded. "She's in trouble. She's at a police station." Jiho's brows furrowed deeply. "What happened?" Neo picked up her phone and held it out. "She sent me this last night, said she was okay, but she's at the police station. I've tried to call her, but..." Suddenly, her phone began to vibrate again. Neo's breath caught in her throat. "It's her!" she answered quickly, turning on the speaker. "Tumi?" On the other end, Tumi's voice came through, strained but unmistakably hers. "Neo, sis, I'm sorry I scared you." "Oh my God, what happened?" Tumi hesitated, then explained in short bursts. "We were celebrating after our final exams. I had a small fight. A girl insulted you, said some nasty things. I lost it. I beat her. They arrested me. I'm okay now. It was stupid, I know." Neo stood up and started pacing the room. Jiho quietly stood beside her, listening intently. "Tumi, you can't do that," Neo said firmly. "I know you're strong, but you can't solve things by fighting. Even if someone insults me..." "She insulted you for being with a rich man. She said you're a gold digger, that I'll never be anything. You weren't there to hear it, Neo," Tumi snapped, then sighed. "I'm sorry, but there are people who deserve to be put in their place." Neo glanced at Jiho awkwardly. The phone was on loudspeaker and he'd heard everything. He didn't seem upset. If anything, he looked impressed at how fiercely protective Tumi was. Neo whispered into the phone, "Just get bailed out, please. I'll help with everything. We'll talk later." "I'll be fine. Don't worry too much, sis," Tumi said, then hung up. Neo sat down heavily, burying her face in her hands. Jiho moved beside her and sat quietly for a few moments before gently placing a hand on her back. "You love her a lot." "She's my only sister," Neo murmured. He nodded. "You don't have to come with me to the company today. You need time, I understand." She looked at him. "Thank you. I'm really not emotionally ready." Without saying much more, Jiho stood and left the room. A few minutes later, in the quiet of his study, Jiho called Insu. "Insu, I need a favor." Insu, ever calm and loyal, chuckled on the other end. "You sound serious. What is it?" Insu sat confidently at the head of the table, straightening his suit as assistants distributed documents. The room stirred as Yura entered. Her makeup was flawless, her outfit elegant, but the puffiness under her eyes betrayed her. Her presence caused murmurs. It had barely been 5 days since her fiancé had walked out, yet here she was, acting as if nothing had happened. Yura held her head high, ready to present her proposal. But when she saw Insu seated where Jiho should have been, her steps faltered. Insu didn't flinch. He glanced at her once and then addressed the board. "Mr. Jiho will not be joining us for a while. Any meetings intended for his attention will be postponed or rerouted to the executive team." The room buzzed again. Yura clenched her jaw but said nothing. Her carefully prepared presentation suddenly felt meaningless. As she flipped through her slides, her mind wasn't on the figures. It was on Jiho's absence. Back at the estate, Jiho and Neo shared a quiet breakfast in the bright dining room. Neo was unusually quiet, and Jiho noticed. He reached for her hand gently. "You've been carrying a lot," he said. "I want to talk to you about something." Neo looked up. He explained, "I've decided to install a full security system in the house. Cameras, motion detectors, full surveillance. Not because I don't trust the people here, but because I need to protect what matters to me. You." Neo blinked. "Do you suspect something here in the house?" Jiho shook his head. "Not exactly, but I'm no longer alone. I'm with you. And anything that threatens you threatens me. I won't take that chance." Her expression softened. Jiho had always been protective, but this felt deeper, more intentional. They agreed to do it immediately. Jiho made a phone call to a trusted private security company. Within the hour, a team was dispatched to the estate. Before the technicians arrived, Jiho called his grandmother. She was in the countryside. He held the phone on speaker. "Halmoni, Neo, and I will be flying to Botswana tomorrow, just for a few days." Her warm voice came through. "Go in peace. May God's favor be with both of you. Take care of her, Jiho. And Neo, bring him back safely." Neo smiled, touched by the blessing. Upstairs, Neo was packing. Her suitcase lay open on the bed, and folded clothes were neatly arranged. There was a soft knock. It was Hyemi, the younger maid. She stepped in with a smile, overly friendly. "Miss Neo, I thought I'd help with laundry. Do you have anything to collect?" Neo looked at her but didn't offer much of a reply. "No, nothing today, thank you." Hyemi paused awkwardly. She tried again. "I hope you're getting used to the house. I've been working here only a short while, but I've heard good things." Neo forced a polite nod but didn't engage. She remembered overhearing Hyemi speaking ill about her downstairs with Madame Young during her first days in the house. Hyemi lingered a moment, then left quietly. Downstairs, Jiho met Madame Young, the senior maid. He handed her envelopes. "I'm giving all the staff 2 weeks off. Some renovations and upgrades are happening here, and we'll need privacy. Please let everyone know. It's not a dismissal, just a short break. Your salaries are paid in advance, plus a bonus." Madame Young nodded, accepting the envelopes. She raised an eyebrow. "Does this have to do with Hyemi?" Jiho didn't answer directly. "Please pack your things and enjoy your break. We'll call you when needed." Minutes later, Madame Young informed the others. A small commotion followed in the kitchen. Hyemi protested. "I didn't do anything!" Madame Young responded firmly. "That's not the point. We've been asked to leave for a while. That's all." By noon, the estate was quiet. The maids had all exited through the front gate, unaware of the security van pulling into the back. Jiho stood in the hallway, watching the monitors being installed discreetly, above the stairs, near the entrances, in the shared spaces. Everything was wired into a secure system connected to both his laptop and phone. Meanwhile, after the awkward board meeting, Yura returned to her office in frustration. She called Hyemi immediately. "Where is Jiho?" Hyemi answered from the bus stop. "I don't know. They gave us 2 weeks off this morning. He didn't explain anything. The house is empty now." Yura's heart dropped. 2 weeks? Why? What is going on?" There was no answer. By late afternoon, with the house completely quiet and the security team finished, Jiho and Neo spent time alone. They moved to the living room, resting on the couch. Neo rested her head on his shoulder. She smiled. "Will you really manage Botswana's food?" Jiho chuckled. "As long as you eat it, I'll eat it. If you teach me, I'm willing to learn." They laughed, the air lighter now. She told him about the local foods, seswa, bogobe, morogo. Jiho listened attentively, even asking questions. Then she helped him browse hotels. "This one's close to my family's neighborhood," she said, pointing at a listing. "Perfect," he said. Jiho booked everything, the hotel, flights, and a rental car. "We'll land tomorrow just after lunch," he said. Neo leaned against him, happy and full of emotion. At a hospital in Gaborone, the atmosphere was tense. Quesa, the girl Tumi had fought with, lay in intensive care. Her injuries were serious. Head trauma, a possible hemorrhage. Doctors spoke in low voices about the possibility of surgery. At the station, Tumi sat pale and shaking. An officer entered. "She's still not responding. If she dies, it won't be assault, it'll be murder." Tumi gasped, pressing her hand over her mouth. he continued. If that happens, I don't think any lawyer can get you out. No bail. Tumi began to cry silently. The officer, a bit more compassionate than the others, lowered his voice. She needs surgery. The family's struggling to pay. If you or someone could help with that, things might not go as far as they could. Tumi stared at him. I don't have anything. He nodded. You'll get one phone call. Maybe you should think carefully. She thought of Neo. But she couldn't tell her. Not now. Not until she knew the girl would live. Tumi curled into herself, breathing hard. To be continued,